Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the new trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. This fourth film ingeniously restages moments from the past trilogy with new actors doing their best impressions, as I, no joke, spent my teenage years doing in front of a webcam, which I pray every night that the architect wasn't watching those. I am gonna break down the visual details no one else seems to be talking about from this trailer and do my best to put it all in context. And before we begin, keep an eye on the red versus blue imagery throughout this trailer and pay special attention to the music, because it's actually Rage Against the Machine's Wake Up, which you'll remember ending the 1999 Matrix film, except now it's an orchestral version by Sebastian Bohm. One of many ways this movie is, as a whole, a meta cover of what came before. So let us red pill into this.
We can't see it, but we're all trapped inside these strange repeating loops.
So SWAT agents swarm in to arrest Trinity, as we saw in the prologue of the 1999 film, but this is a restaged version of it, because the wall that Trinity faces is different. This one has two glass panes with cracks mirroring the two tears in the projector screen later on. Mirrors are obviously significant symbolically in this film, and practically they're gateways through the looking glass, keeping up the Alice in Wonderland motif. Also, this is not Carrie-Anne Moss. The recent Deja Vu trailer revealed this is actually actress Ellen Holman. So this is an example of the loops that Morpheus is talking about in this trailer. In this seventh iteration of the Matrix, after Neo reached that truce with the machines to rid them of the Agent Smith virus, Neo and Trinity have apparently been restored and reinserted into a new simulated world in which the Matrix films are fictional pop culture to these people, so that Neo would interpret his dream memories as just his life reflecting the art he consumes, and therefore not question his reality, and preventing the humans from regaining their greatest weapon against the machines in this Cold War. In fact, the 1999 opening that we see in this movie may actually just be a recast and reshot version of those events from the first film in a new movie that these characters watch. Because The Matrix Resurrections appears to be deconstructing the way our Hollywood and our world reboots franchises as nostalgia machines, so that we're never really experiencing anything new or real, just really repackaged archetypes that we've seen hundreds of times. Neo meets Trinity in the Simulate coffee shop as she turns back to look at him, and he flashes back to the shot of her from The Matrix Reloaded the moment she left him with his Zion worshippers, except here the shot is mirrored from the Reloaded shot. Mirrors! And notice that she follows a kid with a blue hat, a blue shirt, blue backpack, showing how she is still on that blue pill track, for now remaining in the simulation. Next clip.
Just living out their lives, oblivious.
But this is the moment for you to show us what is real.
So Jonathan Groff plays Neo's partner in their company, Deus Machina, perhaps a game developer or a film production company, some kind of pop culture producer. Company name is named after Deus Ex Machina, which was the name of the central interface in Machine City in Revolutions, so that the fact that Neo is now working for this shows how the machines are really just rubbing it in his face. Of course, Deus Ex Machina classically is the Greek term for God from the machine, in which in Greek plays mortal characters were rescued by gods from above, lowered in by crane, and now in our lexicon is a storytelling term for third act divine intervention, which in The Matrix Revolutions that literally was. Groff's character is reciting the Agent Smith monologue from the 1999 film that I forced the poor classmates in my freshman year drama club class to listen to me recite, doing my best Hugo Weaving impression. But I gotta give Groff credit, he really nails Hugo Weaving's enunciation of the word oblivious.
Oblivious.
But interesting to note that Neo was not present for this monologue in the 99 film. Morpheus was the audience. So really this shows us how this is just a script that the simulation is recycling in a new program, one that looks like Jonathan Groff, and Neo just thinks his partner is quoting a line from a movie. Neo then remembers Smith melting his mouth shut, and he sees Groff's mouth melting shut the same way. Then Morpheus and Jessica Henwick's character Bugs actually show the red pill blue pill scene from the 1999 film on a stage with that scene same two plush red chairs, and a mirror. Now, Keanu Reeves' Neo is on screen for this screening. I'm thinking either the character of Neo in the world of this film was recast the way Trinity seems to have been recast, and Neo is only now, for the first time, realizing he was actually the original star of this story, not just fan casting himself in his dreams. Or alternatively, Neo in a simulation could actually be a famous movie star, the way Cypher wanted to be a movie star upon his reinsertion, and the way Keanu Reeves, I assume, probably thinks he's actually in a Matrix. Now notice a tear severs the screen right between the red and blue pills, creating an entrance, a door that Neo has to walk through, making this illusion of this fictional movie broken as Neo must re-enter his past. Also, with all the recurring Neo Christ imagery of this series, you could see this as the veil that tore the moment of the crucifixion, but I love the clever framing here with the red pill over Morpheus's head, as we see him repeatedly offering the red pill and wearing red clothes, whereas the blue pill is over Bugs, who has blue hair. Moving on.
I remember this.
Okay, on the far left of frame, Morpheus and Bugs push Neo through a doorway, and you can see it looks like they're on the bullet train that zips past Mount Fuji, but then on the right side of this barrier, his hands burst out of the red-lit gestation pod fluid. Then someone, I assume Groff based on the later shot of him with a gun in the office, points a gun at Neo as sprinklers are raining down. This isn't any gun though, this is the Desert Eagle Mark 19 pistol, famously the sidearm used by the agents in the Matrix films. And then Neo finds himself back in the white construct, and he touches the back of his head, the same gesture that he does when entering the construct for the first time in the 99 film to feel for his plug, and he realizes that his hair is back. I like how the light goes from super oversaturated to sharper contrast on Keanu's face as Neo's memory returns to him. Next clip.
And yet it's obviously all wrong. Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
They taught you good. Made you believe their world was all you deserved.
So Bugs recognizes deja vu, of course the term in the Matrix for a repetitive glitch when the machine sloppily changed something in the simulation code, taking the form of the black cat that we also will see in this movie in a therapist's office. But Bugs says that the deja vu is all wrong, meaning that the deja vu wasn't an accidental side effect, but perhaps the base concept that this entire simulation is based upon. Like, rather than changing something and hoping they don't notice, now the simulation is overwhelming Neo with deja vu after deja vu, so that he thinks his constant vague familiarity is something just wrong with his mind that he must medicate, and never ever see it as a glitch in the Matrix, but just accepts the reality that is presented to him. You'll notice behind Bugs is Toby Onwunmere's character. He's got tech over his eye. I actually think this might be the character who has the machine arm that we see later in the trailer, maybe this crew's operator. Just an interesting reflection of how both humanity and the machines are in a way dependent on each other. Then a shot of someone alone on a rooftop, flaming helicopter wreckage there. The editing makes it seem like it's Neo, but actually that shot of him looking downward is really from the deck party where he steps off the ledge. This lone figure is actually Trinity, because she later tells Neo this is where her dream ends, so she's probably perceiving this all as a dream. And notice the raining code on nearby Salesforce Tower and the other skyscrapers. Trinity is seeing the Matrix for what it really is. Remember, Neo alone was not the cycle-breaking anomaly. His connection with and love for Trinity was really the key component that changed everything. Moving on.
But some part of you knew that was a lie. Some part of you remembered what was real.
It's so easy to forget how much noise the Matrix pumps into your head. Something else makes the same kind of noise.
So Neo steps off the ledge at this deck party as the partygoers are begging him to come back. A bit extra, I must say, suggesting to me that this could be a dream, or maybe they're just parts of the simulation trying to keep him on track, and that could be what forces him into therapy. But the party may be what triggered Neo here. Red versus blue decor on the tablecloths and chairs. Notice the caterers are actually dressed like Neo from Reloaded, and on that screen is Neo and Agent Smith's subway fight from the 1999 film, and there's also the window washer carriage on the side of the building. That was Morpheus's instructed escape path before Neo lost his nerve. I know. You stare at this stuff long enough and your eyes start to feel like they're about to just drop out of your head and roll down a drain somewhere where Pennywise can get them. And if you're like me and you spend a lot lot of days staring intently at screens like this, you might notice some sore eyes and problems sleeping, and not just because of sewer clowns. Well, blue light damages our eyes and leads to digital eye strain. Symptoms of digital eye strain include blurred vision, headaches, dry, watery eyes. For some folks, this can even affect your energy level. Well, Blue Blocks was created to fix this problem and block out the blue light with high-quality lenses. Thanks to Blue Blocks for sponsoring this video. Blue Blocks are evidence-backed and made under optics laboratory conditions in Australia. When I'm spending time in fluorescent lighting, staring at screens, these glasses are a huge help. They have over 40 styles of frames and come in prescription, non-prescription, and readers. Blue Blocks also has other amazing products such as low blue light bulbs, red light therapy devices, and 100% blackout sleep masks. They ship worldwide in rapid time and make returns and exchanges easy. So go to blueblocks.com/newrockstars and use coupon code NEWROCKSTARS to save 20%. That's blueblocks.com, BLUBLOX.com/newrockstars and use code NEWROCKSTARS to save 20%. Then we hear the voice of Niobe explaining how the Matrix pumps noise into their heads, which feels like a commentary on consumerism.
Noise, 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 noise.
And how in today's day and age, wars are waged over social media. Lana Wachowski's whole goal in the 1999 film was supposed to reflect how digital technology changed society. Their goal now is to reflect how social media technology has eroded our humanity. On to the next bit.
War.
So here we see Niobe returning. Jada Pinkett Smith is playing a super weathered version of herself, scars, cataract on one eye. Meanwhile, Neo still has that forever young Keanu look, young, dumb, and full of I think this is because Neo's body was restored, rebooted, kept fresh and clean in that nutrient-rich pod, whereas Niobe aged normally in the poor conditions of Zion. Just an interesting reflection of how the machines have really done a number to extend human lifespans. Not really for the humans though, just to keep those batteries plugged in as long as they can. You'll notice on the back of his shaved head, Neo has that same head jack that he had in the previous films, but now an additional jack has been installed on the back of his neck, the top of his spinal column. Actually, that later shot of Trinity in her pod shows that particular jack receives a tube with glowing blue lights. That could be how the machines blue pill secondhand humans that have been replugged back into the Matrix an additional layer of security to keep them super plugged in, kind of like the ground wire of a wall outlet. It sounds like Lawrence Fishburne Morpheus is not going to be in this movie other than the archive footage like Hugo Weaving will appear in it, but Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is playing Morpheus in this movie. We just don't know how yet. He might be a bodiless Morpheus program, a ghost in the machine with a certain protocol. He could also be an avatar of Morpheus's younger self used by another on the outside, maybe older Morpheus, or maybe older Morpheus is dead and Niobe is using this as an avatar. But then we see an insane war on the surface world between the machine harvesters. It looks like in these other ships. This could be a machine civil war, machine versus machine. Maybe these ships are human operated, but you do see more blue versus red imagery. The floating ships fire blue blasts, the harvesters fire back at them red ones. Moving on.
The most important choice in Neo's life. It's not his to make.
Okay, so Jonathan Groff's character again syncs with Agent Smith, identifying Neo as Mr. Anderson, which in the Matrix films was intended to be Smith's way of triggering Neo by deliberately misidentifying him with his simulation label. The frame backdrops red on Groff, and then blue on the archive footage of Weaving from the Revolution's final battle, which actually has been recolored from its original green tint to blue, which you can definitely see in Weaving's blue eyes, now really popping here. Priyanka Chopra appears as a grown-up Sati from Revolutions, who I am assuming will be an Oracle type figure. She wore red framed glasses in the House of Nanking in the first trailer, now bathed in red light. And she says the choice is not Neo's to make, which, if you think about it, technically was true from the first Matrix film. Really, it was Trinity's choice to kiss him back to life, which in that moment was a gender reversal of that classic fairy tale trope. Neo and Groff's character restaged the brawl in the dusty setting evoking Agent Smith's subway fight. And then as Trinity leans forward in her pod, the editing syncs her movement into a kiss with Neo on the rooftop. On to the next clip.
She believed in me. My turn to believe in her.
Part of me feels like I have been waiting my whole life for you.
Okay, another echo of the 1999 film, bullet casings raining down upon us from a helicopter overhead, but here the helicopter is firing at Neo and Trinity, leading to the endpoint of Trinity's dream. Then Bugs, it looks like, descends that light up sign, shattering the bulbs and the sparks on her way down, but this street is the same one that Neo walks down in his dream, the frame within a frame covered in green code, and the way that the surfaces of that street suddenly changed from smooth to bumpy is also the case in this shot. You can see how the cobblestone changes abruptly into smooth brick, just a bizarre set design element that definitely feels like a kind of Matrix glitch. Then this shot that I love, we've seen before, where Trinity screams with alternate selves blasting out of her. All of these actually appear to be played by different women. One looks like Jessica Henwick, making me wonder if Bugs herself could be another Trinity analog program in this new reboot. And another kind of looks like Christina Ricci, who is going to be playing some unknown character in this film, maybe an alternate version of Trinity. As Trinity tells Neo it feels like she's been waiting her whole life for him, look at the background. It looks like they're seated at a table in that Simulate coffee shop while SWAT officers and an agent are just standing menacingly behind them waiting for them to finish. But as you keep watching, there's some more context to this scene I'll get to after the next clip.
If you want to see Trinity again, fight for her!
Another shot of this coffee shop battle as all those SWAT agents and FBI guys get blown back from Neo's table. Look closely in the background. There's not only a few agents, one of them actually looks like Jonathan Groff. Neil Patrick Harris's character is seated at the table behind him. So as I've suspected, that blue coded therapist could actually be a representative of the simulation, perhaps the new architect. But there is something about Neo and Trinity joining hands that gives them this power up. And notice how they are always physically touching as they flee from the police, as they swerve on that motorcycle through the green-eyed drones, and then on the rooftop. All of this seems to have started from that one chance handshake in that exchange in the coffee shop that we saw in the first trailer. Everything was going fine in the new simulation until they just happened to touch hands. Moving on.
I saw this in a dream. My dream ended here.
So Trinity describes that dream we were talking about, and Neo again takes her hand in the sunny location. In the Deja Vu trailer, this ends with Trinity melting down in a green code. More red versus blue imagery, Trinity opening her eyes in the red pod, cut to Neo leaving the Matrix in this blue room, back to Trinity's hand reaching out in the red, and then we stay on this epic shot of Neo and Trinity jumping off the ledge, the leap of faith, agonizing silence, staying on the shot way longer than trailers normally stay on any one shot, and then we cut back to Trinity in her pod as it looks like some snaky wires are undulating around her body. Gross. Notice that her pod appears to be alone facing leftward, and in the first trailer, there's a massive room with just two pods facing each other. I'm guessing these are Neo and Trinity's pods, with the machines sequestering these two with extra security to make it impossible for human rebels to unplug them, that would trap them in this seventh simulation as prisoners of war in this ongoing machine-human conflict. And we end with Neo fighting Groff's character, calling back his big line from the 99 film.
I still know Kung Fu.
It's a little on the nose, the kind of Hollywood sequel line that Matrix Resurrections seems to be otherwise deconstructing. So I think Neo might be saying this with a kind of wink. A guy who is fully aware of what kind of reboot simulation he is in and know that it is part of his code to be young, dumb, and full of So I intend to be doing a full analysis of Matrix Resurrections after it comes out. But if I can't see it early, I'm not gonna spend my Christmas doing this. I'm sorry, I need to recharge sometimes. So if that is the case, our breakdown may be coming out on the channel just a little bit later, like after the new year. But when you do see it, I'm gonna go crazy on this film. I can't wait for it. So to support our channel, check out our great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Erik Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thank you for watching. Bye.